Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi here. More legendary Division 2 content. I don't mean to laugh at the beginning. I got in this group and the person said in the chat here, man, and we ran out of ammo. This looks like they've already wiped once. And yeah, you don't need a lot of ammo in this. You're doing it all wrong. So you have to make a determination. As soon as you find out the group's not going to make it, you have to make a determination whether you're going to stay or not. This is usually when I say thank you for subscribing, commenting, sharing, clicking on the notification. As you saw in my last video, Legendary, we were all playing up forward, up there on the right side. Might have said left a couple times. I don't know what my problem is. The thing that you want to do is you want to put pressure on the enemy. There's Roxy. It's in the middle of the day when I'm recording this. You want to put pressure on the enemy so they don't rush you. So you can see one of our folks is up forward, so I'm going to slowly matriculate my way up forward. The position of your turrets doesn't really matter. They can be up there. When you put them up there, you have the problem with the distance. They should be on this hill right above me here, kind of to the left side of that hump. And when you're placing it, you'll see it. There's a little bit of a rise. You kind of want it on the edge. You don't want it too far here to the right. And this is what happens sometimes when you're over here. We do not have a healer in this. I checked out a couple of the people's builds, and they were striker builds. And I checked this later. But I was like, holy shit, no wonder. We've gone through the first section pretty fast. I got this, all total, this took about an hour and 10 minutes. So I sped it up and I did something. I wanted to keep this part to show you like all the mistakes that we make. The group finally starts coming up, but the group leader is back there on the left. They're going to go down in a second. And they're in a position where they shouldn't be. They're out in the open. Thank you for being a human pinata, but you're not helping us over there. So sometimes when I'm playing these videos, I have to decide whether sometimes when I'm playing the game, I have to decide, am I going to use that content for a video? And I don't want to be negative on anyone because they can see who their name is. Not that anyone sees my channel, but if they did, I don't want them to think that I think that they're a complete and utter douche. Because people aren't. They're trying to have, on a Saturday morning, they're just trying to get their legendary run in. So I always want to keep that in mind. But also, you've got to learn how to play the game. There's not a right way and a wrong way. There's just... I could show you, I spent a dump truckload of time in the summit preparing to show you a video, and I died a lot. It's Summit Legendary with 7 directives. And I mean, the minute I make a mistake, and maybe in that video I'll point out all the mistakes that the loser guy was watching play, which was me. And it's obvious when you're watching on the video. That's part of the good stuff of these videos. So the thing I don't realize at this point, but is going to come apparent later on, is we kind of slowly learn what to do. And so really got no complaints with anyone if you're going to learn what to do and to... Oh no, no one said to go over there. Hold on a second. All right, here's where that placement is. You see where I put it. That's a good place for that turret. You're going to catch some of them running in on the side like that. It's in a good spot for them. What the hell? Internet. No one said go to that side. And so, like I told you, I didn't know this at this point in the video, but that's why it's hard sometimes for weapon DPS people to play. Oh no, don't go down. Don't you go down, Ronan. That's sometimes hard for weapon DPS people to play because there's more cover that they have to do and it's not as exciting. But you have to remember why you're doing any of this. You're playing a game. If you were happy to just play the game, you would play on normal and ta-da, you'd have a wonderful experience in the Division 2 and you'd never wonder why. Don't die, Ronan! But we're not. You eventually, one of the commenters a long time ago said to me that, the game gets kind of boring and you want to start challenging yourself. I'm paraphrasing like a MF on that part. I hate people that run up here. I run up, put my turret and get back before they follow me, which is good. Okay, so there's some redeeming qualities. And the reason you're playing a legendary is because you want exotics. And looking by the, two of the people are less than 1,000. You still are absolutely trying to get exotics to use at this point, I think, in your builds. How do I know these aren't alts? Once you get on the grind to get your expertise up, you're not gonna, I love alts. What are alts? Alternate characters. So you got 4 character slots. I always fill mine up. If I'm on one where I have to get names, I cloud hop on names, so I have those names. Squat on some of my favorite player names. Sometimes I like to have the nuances of the build. I like a character and what they're doing. Sometimes in the case of Swodar, you can be a whole different class. Republic versus Empire, there's 2 separate needs for an alt. And then they have 8 different classes. So there's 16 characters that you have to fully, that's what it says in my job mind, to fully appreciate the game. Quick pullback of the curtain. I got one of these extendable arms where I could put my phone to record things where it wouldn't move. I could move, but it wouldn't move. And I don't know if the sound quality was dubious to me. So this one, I'm holding the phone where I can get up and it just stays with me. I might move it further away because I'm not a robot, but, or as Ray would say in the Division, whatever your name is. So I'm showing you this first part because this is where you're determining, are you going to stick with this or not? Because is your group going to do it? And I want you to notice what's slowly happening. We started through the funnel, and I'm trying to get this flank over here to protect this flank. And like a mother duckling, not talking to him in chat or anything. And I'm glad I'm not talking to him in chat because I would chastise him and say, hey, stay in your lanes over there. But they're going to group up around me. And what happens by that, by us not putting pressure on the left side, guess what's going to happen? You can see it on the mini map right now. They're just sneaking around on our backside. Now, I've told you this. This is another indication of your low DPS because we're at this section for forever. And people are coming back around. You can see the battlefields. We're getting pushed into a corner. And I understand if you're a striker build, it's hard because you don't have a chunga to just, get your stacks up. But what the problem is now is that we're in this corner and they're coming on both sides of us. So it's getting kind of hard to play. as I push up to try to have like a little where I can reach him with the pulse. And we're having this problem. So I'm like, let me go back. He throws his thing. It's good players though. So maybe they haven't played this a lot. It's good players. They pick each other up. Nothing catastrophic. Maybe first time. No, bro. Don't get next to me. I don't want that Grenadier to go, oh, the AI Grenadier's like, ooh, a 2-for-1, a twofer. And so they are just all over. So I make a determination at this point. I'm going to go further up. He leaves. I get back over here. We're stuck now in a bad spot. I'd like the turret to be up there, but and you know this is an indication that I can't focus on jamming. We're getting screwed because of me. And I've said this too, as you're playing, you may have to go. There's another guy running over there. You may have to make the determination that you've got to do. I mean, we're just right. Look at there's inside the wire. So I'm fighting backwards now. You can see I'm way out of sync with the jammers. Now, good for us that we're killing it. Bad for us that it's like a leaky sieve over there. So, do's and don'ts. Don't bunch up. Do stay extended. Do push equally on the side. So I go over here as an experiment, and guess what happens? Now, there's not a lot of people left, but I'm like, Jesus Christ. So as they kind of get the message, and we only have a couple people left. So now I've really sped it up. Otherwise, you'd be here for hours, it would seem, with not very exciting gameplay. They go up the middle, which is the absolute worst. I have never been pushed like this. I'm like, let me put that turret over there. They keep checking on me like, what the fuck am I doing over here? And I've never had to do this part from back here, but here we go. You see the helo came down, so we're getting through there. And then lo and behold, I'm like, what's going on? I'm getting shot from behind. Like there's 3 of you in that hole. So I'm like, shit. But I'm like, I'm not quitting no matter what now. And I've told you before, if I can get out of this part, I can get you to the end. It might take a while, but I can get you there. Friend of mine, Sloth Moods, had a video recently about AI. He made some really, really good points about some things. And I'm kind of leaving it alone because I agree with Sloth, and he might not have intended this way. Well, let me tell you what I'm going to do here. We have no one that's going to do it, so I'm going to run up to the door and just keep pounding it with. So if you ever wondered, can you reach the jammer from in here? I think I do it like 7 times. But I'm vial jammering that. This is when I wish the vial jammer, I had a build where it was like 13 seconds and 77. But I knock it down. I've told you before, I put the turret right in front of this door. God bless one of our people. He goes out and dies almost immediately over there on the right with no protection. And this is sped up to 4 times. This is the first. Ladies and gentlemen, YouTubers all over the world, I've reached it first. I've sped the video up 4 times. So mistakes I've made before, I've tried to go heal people and go pick them up. I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm carrying these guys to the end if I got to do it. And he's finally dead. Anyone want to do the math for me? What percentage is it? Okay. And then we have a problem dying. Number 1, the guy resing him didn't know to go into cover and res him. Number 2, the guy's going to die and he's going to crawl away from me, not towards me. And then when he dies, he sets up in the middle of the floor. He can see the one guy didn't. Now he crawls away from me. So I'm like, well, fuck it. I'll go get you. And I'm like, come over here. Come over here. Okay, so do's and don'ts. Do die. It's normal. Don't die in the middle. Crawl to someone. So here's what I got to say to whoever is down and dead. And that guy did it right this time. So here's what's happening on a meta level. They're learning what to do, and that's pretty impressive. Dude's over there, and I'm going slow on my shepherd this month. So he pays the price of just being dead, but he doesn't quit. So I salute you, sir. That's a man that will sit there, or a woman, or a grown-up that will take their punishment. We do a pretty good job in here. Now at this point, we have no cowboying. That we have formed into a pretty good team, I think, at this point. It sounds like I'm firing a minigun. We have a guy with a Scorpio shotgun. At a certain point, I said to myself, maybe I should switch to capacitor, but I didn't. So I make one exclamation as we get through here. And I'm not going to help them because I got to knock these things down. I make one exclamation. I just say one door only. Now, do not go out there, especially don't go out to the right. And don't go to the far right. And if you die, come back in and please take your lumps. And just come back in and figure out a new strategy. And so I'll give it to the one guy. The group leader came back in. He started throwing grenades, rolling them out there. So that was helpful. And I got my turret in front of that doorway. Doesn't always deter them. And we have one guy that gets in. And I've told you this before. When you're putting out the DPS, they're going to come for you. He's going to come for me no matter what. But that guy sees what I do, that I strafe inside the doorway. He takes the left side, I take the right side. And I'm pretty impressed at this point. But I know we're getting through no matter what. If I got to go down all the halls, I'll do it. At least I think I can. This is usually when I say thank you for subscribing, commenting, sharing, clicking the bell for notifications. Appreciate you. We're starting to grow again. Appreciate everyone that's sharing. And to the regulars, I appreciate you a lot. I've gotten to know a lot of the people through the comments, and I appreciate you quite a bit. He goes out and tries to get him, and I'm trying to, and he goes down. And I'm trying to put as much DPS out there so that he can go do that. But I've told you before, I've wiped here because I do something stupid like care about my fellow man. It's almost like you're seeing quantum mechanics, like particles coming into existence and then dying, those drones. All right, it won't all be 4 times speed. But this next part is especially boring. I'm not going to do anything good. And now here's what I'm wondering. Do I put a DPS build on? Or do I stay vial jamming? And here's the mental calculation I do. They have striker builds. And the things that you worry about in that next phase are the chungas and the dogs. I'm going to help take care of the dogs with these striker builds. So I checked out their builds and I check out his build, their strikers. So I say to myself, all right, let me become a healer. And I've done this before. And so I'm going to gauge what's happening. They pretty quickly learn to stay in the heals. So at this point, this is where I have to eat shit. These people playing are so smart that they've now changed their gameplay because they just want their stupid exotic, maybe. So I appreciate them now. And now we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to slow that last part down. Not too far, still took a while. But we're underpowered, and it's okay. But I'm not going to go through here and try to carry him with the DPS because we'd suffer all different kind of things. We have enough DPS. We have striker builds. So that's when you got to look at who you got in the group and say, okay, are they going to do that? If one of them was a healer, wouldn't even be thinking about it. And I'm never going to tell a guy. And I'll tell you a quick story. I was doing a manning zoo on Heroic, and I was trying out my different builds, and I was pushing a little bit. And then the people started squabbling about, slow down, what's the hurry? And then one guy, So I ended up just going to my there's Roxy, my vial jammer build, and then I carried the group through the rest of the way and just did a shitload of damage and carried them. And I didn't bitch about it. And I just apologized. I said, I was sorry, I'm trying a bunch of different builds. And I dropped, and we wiped once in the Heroic. And it was 100% my fault. Okay, so this is slowed down a little bit. I told you this is where I go normally to vial jam, but I'm going to heal from here also. Oh my gosh, and that's bad. That's really bad. Keep going, internet. Come on, internet. Come on, internet. And come on, internet. Okay. So it's 3 o'clock where I live. I was taking a nap on a Saturday because I'm an old man. And what happened is the alarm came up and froze the video. And we're almost done. Or are we? No, we're almost done. So what I deduced correctly was that this would be the right fit for them. And the guy to my immediate right, he doesn't know where to go. He eventually figures it out. Every once in a while, he'll come over by me because he's probably saying, hey, let's change. And I'm like, no, I'm going to remember when that chunga goes to the right, I think he's going to have his eye on me. So I'm going to move a little bit. You'll see I start getting hit, and I will post up on the other side of this little V notch I'm in. And so this is where I got to eat some humble pie. I mean, these guys did it. They learned what to do, and they smoked it this part. They were great. I would run with them again. And so that's one of the things I love about this game and games, period, is I just get my expectations are constantly and continually changed, and I'm proven wrong. And why is that important? Well, as you get older and you know things, and conversely, when you go from 13 to 18 and 18 to 25, you think you know everything. When you get to my age, you've been there, done that, you think you know everything. But I don't. So if you ever want to stay young at heart, young in mind, then you've just always got to examine what you're thinking about. Is it right or wrong? Why do you think it? Ask yourself why. Try new things. The worst that's going to happen is you're going to confirm what you already know. The best thing that's going to happen is you're going to learn something new. And normally, people will, there's where I go on the right side. Normally, people here will, they already complain about not having enough ammo. They stay dogged in this tent to past when we need to. But I appreciate that. So for sure, you could do a legendary with any of these three people. Because they get it. They get the show. Talked a little about Sloth and the AI stuff. That's not over. They're going to try to call it artificial intelligence. It's not artificial. It's just a tool. Not a very smart tool. And it's marketing. And I'm not going to get mad at marketing because marketing is just marketing. So that's why I've cooled off a bit. But you go 3 or 4 videos back. And one of the big questions that I'm trying to... I know what the answer is for me, but to postulate this out, does free will exist? And it may not, but I think it does. But for sure, I disagree with the main reason people give. There's that guy trying to sneak over in my spot. The reason that people think we don't have free will, that I disagree with one of those wholeheartedly, and I think it's wrong. So I spent a lot of time over the past couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, proving that wrong, looking at the data, looking at the research, coming up with ideas about why it's wrong and examples that I can give to you guys. So eventually that'll come out. So, and there we go. So thank you, YouTube. Thanks everyone for watching. I know this was a little bit long today, but the group exceeded my expectations. It's a well done group. Healer shitty. Get your heals and go heal your guys. And we did it. Thank you, YouTube. Talk to you soon. Ronin Kazi out.